If you're starting your business, you're not going to want to hire anyone. I know because when I first started my business, I didn't want to hire anybody. But once you start getting going, maybe you're a year or 2 years into it and you're thinking, oh shit, I need to hire somebody to help me because I'm wearing so many different hats. There's no way I can do anything that well when I'm having to do so many different tasks. Well, my name is Wong. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist. And 10 years ago, I started my therapy clinic, and then 5 years ago, I started Hand Therapy Secrets, which is what you see me doing right here. And Hand Therapy Secrets is all about helping therapists build their clinical skills and business skills. And so I just share a little bit about what I did to hire my dream team, and hopefully that can help you as well. Inside my OT Business Corner course, I talk extensively about hiring your dream team. But here is essentially what I did in this order. I hired my admin first, then my therapist, then my marketing assistant, then my manager. So here is what I first did when I hired my admin. Now, you might think, and I thought this, and I was very wrong. So I'm trying to save you the heartache of making these decisions that they don't really serve you because you're thinking so small because you're so scared. And maybe that's not you, but that certainly was me. I was scared to hire someone full time because I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to pay them all this money, which means if I had to pay them, then I wasn't getting paid, right? So I started someone part-time, but I can guarantee you that there's so much that this one admin person can do. It's really incredible if you know what you want and if you know how to best utilize them, right? And you're going to make mistakes. Like, be prepared to make some mistakes, and don't think of someone's salary as like, oh my god, this is how much I'm going to lose. So sometimes it can be really scary because you're like, oh my god, this therapist wants like 70 to $120,000, right? And I'm going to lose all that money if I hire them and they don't do well. No, you're actually just going to lose a month. You're going to lose 2 months. You're gonna, and hopefully they're doing something within those 2 months or 1 month for you that you're not fully losing it. They're actually doing something, right? So I want to encourage you to kind of like break your thinking down so that it makes it less overwhelming. It makes hiring somebody a little bit easier, so you don't have to go through the shit that I went through. So I hired part-time, but I totally could have had that person full-time. And it was just a matter of like having that list of things for them to do. Now, sometimes you might think, oh, that there's not enough for them, or there is enough. I promise there is enough. The other thing that might be stopping you from hiring someone full time because you think that you're going to do everything better, and technically speaking, you are going to do something better, but if they can do 80% of it as good as you, is it worth hiring them so that you don't have to do it? And believe it or not, over a period of time, they might do better than you because they have the capacity to do it all the time. And by that, I mean admin and even the marketing. So when I first started, and I didn't have a marketing assistant and I didn't have a manager, I was the manager. I was a marketing assistant. I was the therapist. I was the manager, right? And the thing is all I wanted to do, this admin could have done so much, right? This admin could have scheduled, could have been doing the calls. This admin could have done some cleaning for me, could have done the towels for me. Just, there's a gazillion little things that they could do. Like, honestly, there's so much. They could even help you with your billing if you wanted to. I personally didn't want my admin to do billing for me because I needed that shit. I needed to be freaking paid, okay? So I made sure I was hired. I always outsourced my billing. I still to this day outsource my billing. Just a personal choice because I don't want to deal with it. But if you wanted to have your own billing person, it's quote unquote a little cheaper to have a billing person versus having a billing company. But sometimes you got to pick and choose, right? You got to pick and choose. So with my admin, one thing I always knew is I didn't want to do my billing and collections in-house. I was willing to pay someone else. And so my admin had other things to do. Now, the marketing assistant stuff the admin could do. Now, I didn't do that at the beginning because I was so afraid to let go of the marketing assistant stuff. I was afraid to let go of creating the captions. I was afraid of letting go of like taking the pictures and posting it in a certain way. I could not let that go. But let me tell you, if I could let that go earlier, I would have, and I would have gone faster. Sharing that with you, so maybe you can go a little faster than I did. But it was a painful process because I was like, oh, I have to do it all, and you're just martyring yourself for no fucking reason because it just drags you down. You're slower. So once I sort of like, you know what happens, why you make the decisions, because you get freaking tired. Something happens, you get freaking tired of shit, and you're just like, I can't do it. Somebody needs to step up and do it. And so sometimes it takes something breaking you to make the change. Sometimes it's because you hire someone really well, right? And so I think sometimes it takes takes a little bit of practice. One of my friends says that the magic number is 3, and she's not lying. She's not lying. I've probably hired let me see, 1, 2. Yep, by my third one, and the magic was because I was willing to hire full time, right? So by the third person, she was great. Dulce was great. She was exactly who I needed. She was in my corner. I would change shit on her, and she'd be like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it." I didn't have someone who was like pushing back on me all the time. Like one of the times, no, actually, oh my God, Dulce was my fourth person. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joseph was my fourth person because I did the whole like, let me hire someone I know, and then I hired a couple of people part time, and then that was like a shit show. And when I hired full time, she didn't give me pushback, right? And what does it mean by pushback? I don't mind people challenging like me, like if I want to do something and they're like, oh, they want to play devil's advocate. Let's, what about this? What about that? I don't have a problem with that at all. Pushback meaning is like if I have a goal and we're trying to achieve this goal for the betterment of like the company and us, right? The company meaning if the company makes money, I have money to pay you. Like let's think about this, people. If the company doesn't make money, I won't have the money to pay you. It's literally that simple. But people give you pushback. It's like every time you're trying to implement something important, even though it might be hard or strange or new to them, they're like ready to go. They're ready to support you. The people who give you pushback are like, well, I don't want to do that because this and this and this. Like they're constantly draining your energy because they don't want to do some shit because it's uncomfortable for them, or they're like, I just didn't sign up for this. Oh, okay, then, maybe this is not the best job for you. So hiring the right person really helped. And here's what I did to hire the right person. I have a series of questions that are really good that I use to ask them. Outside of my really good questions, I have a process that I implement. So my process is really simple, and it has saved me thousands of hours. I kid you not, thousands of hours. And my friends that are in business, I tell them like, you guys have to use this. This is so good. But basically, they opt in to the position, and then I send them an email and say, hey, if you're interested in this position, do this, this, and this. Right? It's literally one email, and it gives them 3 things that they have to do. They're very simple things. They're very simple things. Before the pandemic, I had an extra step. Okay, great. Thank you for sending that email to me. I want you to make a 7-minute I want you to make a 7-minute video of why you want this job. I've had 2 people do that, and let me tell you, they were the best. They were the best. One of them, she is an occupation, like she wants to be an occupational therapist. She was volunteering in my clinic when my admin was leaving, and she wanted a job. And I was like, well, I was like, I don't necessarily want to hire someone who's going to be, go into OT right now, because she was only going to give me a year, right? But she was like, well, I'm going to apply for this job anyway. And she applied for the job, and I was like, like she did like those things. Like that is someone who wants the freaking job. You know, it's not easy to make a 7-minute video. And she didn't make a 7-minute video because she was like, okay, that's all I got to say. It was like at 5 minutes. She was literally in her car, parked in the parking garage, parked in the parking of my office because she was on her way up to do the volunteering. Let me tell you, those candidates, those people who worked for me were amazing. And so I think if you do something where you put an extra step in that says like, hey, someone is showing you that they're interested, it makes a big impact because you're going to weed out, people who are really not that interested in your job. As small businesses, we need very particular types of people in our business, right? I'm going to give you an example. Someone just quit. My admin just quit. Like literally from one day to the next, she was like, I quit. And she didn't even fucking give me notice, right? I had my shit ready to go. Literally, she was, texted. Oh, I don't have, the next morning, first top thing in the morning, ads went up, paid for it on Indeed. And within not even a week, we had 200 applicants. So from the 200 applicants, we were able to narrow it down to like, let's say 30 people who filled out the form. And then from the 30 people, 10 people actually did that one-step thing. From the one-step thing, we called them because it narrows our time, like it narrows our candidates down so we can save so much time. So much time. Do you want to know how I fucking did this at the beginning? People would apply on Indeed. I'd be like, oh, let me look at their resume. Oh, and then I would call them. And then you know what they would say to me? Okay, where are you calling from? Oh, you're in Doral? I'm all the way down in Homestead. I'm not taking this job. Like, why did you apply? You know why? Because Indeed and those companies, they put stuff in front of people, so it becomes automatic. So they just sign up for something where it automatically applies on their behalf. So they're not even necessarily interested in your job, and they're applying for your job. So you think you have candidates, and you're wasting your time going through them. So now I just wean it down. So then we have so many so many Zoom interviews. So it's like 15 minutes, every 15 minutes I block out. I don't block it out anymore. My manager does. But when I used to do it, I used to get on Zoom interviews with them. And then I would say, ask them some questions. And if they showed up, it's that simple. If they showed up and they showed up half decent, and they sounded like they were interested in the job and they answered the questions in a way that sounded halfway decent, then I would invite them for an in-person interview. So imagine all like 200 people, you whittle down to like 5, to 6 people. That's the only 6 people you need to, invite into your office to have an in-person interview, right? And then you repeat and recycle that every week or two, right? So imagine that's a lot of time. So if you had 200 applicants every 2 weeks, I mean, that's just a lot. So that's how I was able to do it by myself, to whittle it down to being able to hire a really good admin. And then after I hired the admin, I was like, oh, I need to hire a therapist, right? Now, I know a lot of people love hiring that like therapist, part-time, per diem. I don't know about you, but I need a little bit of commitment, right? Hand therapy is not easy. It's not easy for people to find jobs. It's not easy to find people with the skills. I'm willing to train for it, right? But training for it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy, right? Not everyone is willing to train for it. Some people don't have the energy for it. Some people don't have the time for it. Imagine if I have to pay you, right? I have to pay you. See, this is where people don't understand sometimes. I have to freaking pay your ass money, and my ass costs twice as much. Now I have lost 4 + 2 amounts of money, right? Because we're not working. We just sitting talking and training and blah, blah, blah. Now you can train on the job too, but if you're making $50 an hour, you got to go back to watch my other videos on like, what kind of business and how much you're charging for. But that's a lot of money lost when you are hiring somebody who has a poor piss attitude, right? Skills you can train for all day and every day, right? Skills you can train for. Someone comes in, they don't know how you do things. They don't know how certain things are done. You can train for that. Attitude, 100%, you can't train for. So, therapists can be assets, but they also can be liabilities, right? Assets are people who, you build into, they're gonna bring money back, right? You're investing in them, they're gonna have a money return. Liabilities is like using a credit card and spending it, you never get shit back. They tell you you're making money back, but you're not making money back because you're spending so much money that you'll never have a chance to make money back. That's a liability. And so when you hire your therapist, right, and this is where therapists who want to work for someone else don't understand, is you can either create yourself to be an asset or you're creating yourself to be a liability, and you have to decide which one you're going to be. So as a business owner, I am an asset, right? I make money. The decisions that I make me money. You, as a business owner, you're an asset. The decisions you make you money. When you hire a therapist that makes you money, you can pay them and you can make money. If you hire a therapist that has a piss poor attitude and they become more of a liability than they are an asset, you will drain out your money. So it took me several therapists as well before I got to a really good one. And I would say that most of my therapists, like my first full-time therapist, it wasn't her fault that she was considered, like, she lost me money. I lost money hiring her. It wasn't her fault. She did a great job with what she had. It was just like my focus when I hired her got deterred because of I was so busy learning business skills that I didn't do real fundamental things because I didn't have a marketing assistant. Now go watch my other videos, right? Go watch my other videos on marketing, because there is no way in this day and age you can grow your business solely on the word of mouth of a doctor. The minute that doctor turns on you, you're freaking screwed. The minute that doctor closes his business, you're freaking screwed. If that doctor decides to go cahoots with another therapist, your business is screwed. So I never put all my eggs into one basket of one surgeon. I don't put my eggs in one basket of an insurance company, because the minute they change, you have no control over it. The only control you have is over how you decide to run your business. And marketing nowadays is really big. It's such an important aspect of running a business that whether you like it or not, you need to hone in on. Whether you are marketing to other companies to send you people, or you're marketing directly to the consumer. Like, I tend to market directly to people. If you're not playing that game, you're going to lose out, because there's a lot of noise nowadays, and majority of people are on some form or fashion of a social media platform. They are being influenced somehow or another by the brand of a company, the message of a company. And the sooner you start marketing, the sooner you start developing your brand. Now, I was talking to a business owner, and she was like, well, she's like, brand spanking new. She's like, I'm developing my brand. Okay. Brand is a reputation that people understand and know your company about. So if your brand is making new, you have absolutely no brand. And brand isn't about your colors, and it isn't about your logo. It's about your reputation over a period of time, that people get to know you to stand for. That's a brand. And it takes time to develop a brand. I mean, you think about companies like iPhone, you think about shoe companies like Nike, you think about purses like Louis Vuitton, you think about hotels like the Ritz-Carlton. These big, huge companies, develop a brand over, decades and multiple renditions. I actually was listening to a story on the luxury brand Hermes. I can't fucking say it. Uh, but it took them 3 generations before they got as big as they got. Now you see this luxury brand as like this brand that you can't even go in and buy a purse. You can't even go and buy a Birkin bag or a Kelly bag or whatever. You have to like be in the club. They make it so exclusive, but before they were like that, they were gone through 3 generations where they were just like, weren't making much of anything and almost like died out as a company. So brands take a long time and it takes a lot of work, a lot of marketing over a period of time to create it. So yeah, the more you can hire and the more you can get someone to help you to do these things, because you can manage your ego saying like, I am the best, I can do everything. Like if you can let that go, you'll be able to hire your dream team, and that's what I did. And then after a while, I was able to hire a manager, right? So you don't really have to hire a manager unless you have multiple locations. Maybe you have multiple staff therapists. Once you start having more than like 7 people, this manager can help you do a lot more. But I have a small team. I want to work with a small team, but I have 2 companies. So I have my therapy clinic, and then I have Hand Therapy Secrets, my educational company. And so my manager helps me to manage a lot of stuff in between. So that's what I did to hire my dream team. And I hope that helps you to hire your dream team, or even just kind of think about what your dream team could look like. These videos are created to help you save time and heartache, and hopefully save some money, because I lost it so you can save it. If you have any comments and you have further questions, leave me a comment below, and there's going to be some links there for you if you want to grab my free guide to your business. Let me do that again. I'm gonna have I have some links below if you want to grab my free guide so you can start and grow your business. Make it